The Chicago Cubs are willing to give away Christopher Morel for Pete Alonso in a big trade. This is All Things Mets. This is where you get your latest Mets media. Everything about the Mets on this channel. Definitely leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And today's topic, I'm coming at you with news. And definitely the Chicago Cubs. We know that the Chicago Cubs are interested in Pete Alonso. And they're very interested. They are pursuing Pete Alonso, definitely. And they made their interest known. So definitely, reportedly, the Chicago Cubs are willing to give away Christopher Morel, a 24-year-old, prospect that was in the major leagues this season, had a pretty good year, batted .247 on the average, but hit 26 home runs, had 70 RBIs on the season. Definitely, it was a pretty good season for him. It was his first season officially really as a rookie in the major leagues. So 26 home runs. He has power. He's young. He had definitely Christopher Morel. You have a lot of control over him. And the Chicago Cubs really want Pete Alonso. So they're willing to give away a piece like that. A guy that is, as an outfielder that can play a couple of positions. There are some downfalls to his, defensive ability, but I'll get into that. But definitely Pete Alonso and the Chicago Cubs really, really want Pete Alonso. They don't really have a first baseman that that can be the first baseman of the future for them, or first baseman of their core players. So they don't really have a first baseman. They're interested in moving Christopher Morel and giving him first base reps. But reportedly, they're very, very interested in Pete Alonso. So they're willing to give away a guy like Christopher Morel, who they have so much control over so many years. He's not even hit arbitration yet. He's in pre-arbitration. So so much controls over him. You have over 4 to 5, 6 years of him with control. So this is really a situation where the Chicago Cubs really want Pete Alonso, and they're willing to do anything to get him. Now, obviously, they would need to trade him, Christopher Morel, and another piece, another big piece, maybe a starting pitcher or something like that for Pete Alonso. And we know that Pete Alonso, if you don't know, Pete Alonso is going into his final year with the New York Mets in 2024, definitely, next year and the next season, and Pete Alonso had a pretty down season, I would say. He did hit over 40 home runs, but, Pete Alonso, it wasn't so great of a year. We know that he struggled. He got injured. And then, it took him some time to get back to what he, showed, to that power and, to the big Pete Alonso numbers. But, Pete Alonso has been a homegrown guy for the New York Mets for so many years. This guy is your first baseman for so many years. He's been the guy. He's been almost, I would say, like a Mets captain. A very respected guy, a guy that, cares a lot about charity, a guy that, helps, he's not the biggest outspoken guy, but definitely, he's a hardworking guy. He won the home run derby a couple of times. He's done a lot of things in baseball. He won the Rookie of the Year, he got the Rookie of the Year home run record over Aaron Judge, So Pete Alonso has done a lot, but I would say, he hasn't won a World Series, and I know he wants to win. Pete Alonso wants to win bad, and he wants his money. He loves New York as well, but the Chicago Cubs are really interested in him. And the fact that they're willing to give away a piece like Christopher Morel is a big, big situation, because Christopher Morel, like I said, he's a prospect that you have so much control over. So why would you want to trade him? Now, Christopher Morel, got 6 stolen bases on the season, definitely 70 RBIs. He batted .247. He does strike out a bit, definitely. But he hit 26 home runs. So this guy has value, and he's young. He's only 24 years old. He's from the Dominican Republic, and he's a strong guy. He definitely can hit you some shots of home runs. But I say Christopher Morel, the downfall of him is his defensive ability. He's not really good. He's not a really good defender. And, they tried him in the outfield. They tried him in a couple of, other positions. They mostly had him as the DH. The Chicago Cubs mostly had him as the designated hitter because of his defensive ability that's not really great. So the fact that they want to try him at first base just shows that they don't really have a first baseman plan for the future. They don't really have a first baseman guy that they could sign right now and that they, could be the first baseman for them for so many years. But they're really interested in Pete Alonso. And I think this is definitely noteworthy because, the Mets obviously want prospects. They want young prospects. They want guys. If you're going to trade Pete Alonso, it's going to have to be, you're going to have to get a prospect like that, Christopher Morel, and maybe another a pitching prospect from them as well. Definitely, it's not going to be just Christopher Morel in this deal is not going to get the deal done. So this is a confusing situation because the Mets, they don't really know what to do with Pete Alonso. Yes, they want to sign him to an extension. He does want a big money. He signed, he got Scott Boras to be his agent, and that comes with a lot of, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy to get Pete Alonso to do an extension for the New York Mets. But the Mets got to, do whatever they feel is right because Dave Stearns, is the president of baseball operations now. He's making big decisions. And if he sees Pete Alonso as the next guy, the first baseman for so many years and a homegrown Mets career life for him, then he's going to, try to extend him, obviously. But if it doesn't happen and he has to pivot and make a trade for Pete Alonso, he's going to have to get a lot of value for Pete Alonso. And, yeah, to be honest, the Chicago Cubs, Pete Alonso, it's a fit. It's a fit for the Chicago Cubs. Obviously, a lot of teams would want a guy like Pete Alonso, a guy that could hit you over 40 home runs, a guy that could get you over 100-something RBIs. He doesn't have the best defensive ability at first base, but definitely he is one of the best power hitters in all of baseball. So obviously, the Chicago Cubs are interested in him. More teams are interested in him as well, but the Chicago Cubs have made their interest very noteworthy. And the fact that they're trying to basically put Christopher Morel as a centerpiece, that is huge, huge news. And I don't know if the Mets make that trade, but I say if the Mets, trade Pete Alonso, they better get something good. So let me know what you guys think about this situation. Do you guys, value Christopher Morel? Do you like him? Do you think that he would be a fit in the New York Mets? Do you like Pete Alonso? Do you love Pete Alonso? Do you want him to stay with the New York Mets? Do you think that Pete Alonso is asking for too much money? Do you think that the Mets are going to make the deal to, have the extension? Do you think that they're going to extend Pete Alonso? Let me know what you guys think. At the end of the day, that's the end of the video. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. LFGM for life. And yeah, man, I'm gone.